Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, continuing on with another episode of the World Builders series. Before we continue on, I'd like to provide a brief shout out to my Patreon supporters. If you would like to join my Patreon community, the link is down below. If, however, you would rather just give a one-time donation, you can always buy me a coffee, link in description as well. So, next thing we're going to do is make it to where we can change the color based off of a noise check texture. As you can see here in my texture file, I have added a noise texture. I won't be providing this noise texture because it is from a free pack. The link is in the description. It is this right here, free samples, infinite noise, free sample pack. You can simply go through, find whichever noise you want to use, and then import it into the engine so that we can continue on. So feel free to pause to get a noise texture if you don't already have one, and then we will continue. Okay, so first thing we want to do is go back into our color controls. Now then, that being said, I'm just gonna put that up here. Gonna do a little bit of a straightening up here. And there we go. So everything that we change now comes from this multiply. Everything else will stay exactly the same. So we're going to want to drag this all the way over here. And the first thing we are going to want is to get a static switch, because you may not want it on. And if you don't want it on, we want to make sure it is not on. So if it is false, we want to go to this one. If it is true, we're going to want to go to lerp. So hold down the L key for the lerp. At which point we will put that right there. And into B, copy paste. Tint 2. At which point we could then, if we wanted to, just put our texture. But then we wouldn't have all the nifty controls that we want to control the size and the strength of the tint and the strength of the darks versus the whites, lightening the whites, yada yada yada. Because with things like rock and stone, it's a little harder to see the color changes sometimes. And with things like sand, it's super easy. So you want that finite control. So we're going to plug that in here. Nothing will change because the default is false. Place this up here. This is a 5, so we want this to be a 7. Because when we drag out of here, we want an input. Don't forget, it cannot be a bool. It needs to be a static bool. And from this bool, we will put in use color noise, question mark. And we want this to use default of false. So again, you may not want it, and it's easier to just add it later, or to hit the true button. That and it's cheaper. Lets you load things in faster, add things as you need them. All right. So next thing we're going to want is a saturate. We want the zero, anything that goes above 0 to be changed to a 0, anything that goes above 1 to be changed to 1. That way we don't have any extremes of strangeness. Next we want to hit is multiply. And then we're going to come out of here, input. This one will be mask strength. Default. Hold down the 1. Get a 1. Because if it's on, we want it to be at least 1. Obviously, if you want it to be stronger, you'd go stronger. But again, be careful. We then are going to want another one of these static switches. So I'm just going to copy all of this right here. Copy and paste. Place that right in here. And we need this one to be use triplanar. True, we are going to want the triplanar texture. Hold down Control, move this to G, because we only need one channel. False, we want a texture sample. Remember to change it to wrap. G right there. And from here, we will come to UV scale. Input. Noise size. Obviously, check mark it. Hold down the 1. Make it a 1. Then, from this one, we're going to want to get a divide. Then we're going to want to multiply by 100 because we are going into the world position. And that makes a 1 be a 1 centimeter instead of a 1 meter. Place that right there. Perfect. Next thing we are going to want is hold down the, no, we need to do texture object. I'm just going to find some default noise. No, it's not default. Just find a noise texture. Any will do really. And input. Noise texture. Use the default value that's there. Texture. Texture. Obviously right now we're not going to see any differences because these are both the exact same color. Now, this right here will technically work without issue. There's something that I unintentionally skipped that will make the grays darker or lighter and gives you a lot more control over that so that you can then make things as varied as you want. That's why it's important that you find a good noise mask. Noise masks that just go from whites to black really fast, very little grays, leaves a lot less control for you to have. So make sure you keep that in mind. So let's hold down the L to get a lerp. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. L, there we go. And in the alpha, we put this. For the lerp, we're going to hold down the 1 key. This one will be -1. This one 1. Get a function input. We'll call this one lighten noise. Copy paste. darken noise. There we go. So now we need to make sure that these are check marked. Make sure all of them are indeed check marked. And now we need to create a little bit of a semblance of control. So we have this not supposed to be at 0. See, what is this one? 7. So this one is 6. The use color noise bool. The next thing we are going to want to do then is to one more thing. Triplanar blending right now has nothing in it. We are going to just give it a strong default of 10. We don't need to have that kind of control with the color. So anyways, we have this as a 6, so that's at a 7. We'll make the light noise an 8, and then darken noise a 9. Mask strength 10. And then we want the texture to be 11. Then the UV to be 12. Triplanar to be 13. Now if we hit apply, should have also hit save. Now we have a whole diggity dog bunch. So let's go ahead and for now, static bool. We want you to be true, which means there's a couple things that we're missing here, as you can see. What is this here? 1 second. Not sure what this noise is, so we're just going to keep on going and see if things change. Copy, paste. We want this to be color tint 2. Place that right in here. We'll keep the light and darken the same. Mask strength will keep the same, and we need a texture. So I'm going to get a texture 2D. Nope. Texture object. One of these days I'll get it right. Right click, convert to parameter. Color, noise, texture. Place that right in here. Okay, there's something missing. So let me, I have to find it. Be right back. Alright, found the problem. Right here needs to be the X, Y. We don't need the Z. There we go. We hit save. Come into here. That error's gone. Right now I have this set to 256 because I just want to show real quick the difference. So we're going to come in here. Where is it? Right here. We make this smaller for everybody. Check mark this. We will place this noise texture right in here. Then the second color, let's make you red. Look at that. Now, because I need to see how this one works, where are we? Here we are. Let me get these added so that we can play around with these nodes a little bit. So that you guys can understand how this works. So let's convert to parameter. We want this to be strengthen color 2. Strengthen color 1. mask strength. Convert to parameter, noise size. Just in case I already have a noise size, color, noise size. Save. These four right here at the bottom. So let me check mark this. Now obviously if I go to 1, not going to really see much of anything. If we get up super close, we start to see it because now it's the same size as the textures. So let me put this back up to like 80. And then if we make the noise strength the mask strength 1.2, if we go to 2, as you can see, things are indeed getting stronger. Now if I come up here, I hit 2, I make this a 0. As you can see, finite control. Now, as I said, because there aren't as many, it doesn't have strong transitions of grays, so it's a lot harder to see. There are grays, it's just not as prominent. So let's make this 500. And then we make this a 1 and a -1. So that, let's make you 1200. We have the coloration right here, so we can see that it's there. So if I go to 1.5, -0.5, you can see that there's more of a change. Now obviously red is ridiculous. We don't want red. So we're going to go back to white, just make it darker like this. Hit OK. Make you 500, 800. Obviously we're still seeing some. The type of texture matters. Now if I show you mine, which is going to be in the pack I'll be selling, so let me get it for us. Alright, so here's mine. If we do this, we got a whole bunch of shading going on here. I'm going to make this smaller because now I can. There we go. You cannot see tiling all that well. And that's what I'm talking about, making sure that you have a texture that has whites, grays, some black, not much black. You don't really want to go into black because you can get to black really easily with these controls. So I go with 2. Make this a lot better. Let's put these back. So here it is at 1, 1.2. So even now you're good. But if you want more, 1.2, 1.5, -0.5. Here we go. Very hard to see the tiling, and it looks really good. Works with every single kind of texture. So with that, it's the end of this episode. I would highly suggest that between this episode and the next one, that you go ahead and set up this part right over here. That way you have an easier time from this point on. I feel that with all the videos that we have done, that you have learned how to do this part. So I will do this part off video. I'll get it all added right here. And then in the next video, I will help you add it into here and separate all of this up so that it's not a jumbled mess here. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.